So this is the story of our lives, right? So I'm sure all of us have had this question, right? The client comes on board and he asks us, how is social media really helping my business? I'm investing in social media, I'm creating content, I'm running media, I'm running ads, but how is that really helping my business? I'm getting the likes, I'm getting users and customers to engage with me, but am I actually getting results? How do I measure these results? So
Hi, welcome all. And first of all, happy Social Media Day, World Social Media Day. And thank you for participating in Storyteller Social Media Summit 2020, which is powered by HandySense SendGrid. So you would have seen that all those schools mail which is being sent to your mailbox, it is like powered by HandySense. So all right, here to Keithan, Miss Keithan over here. So she'll be moderating this session. Over to you, Keithan.
Thank you, Rajuel, and hello everyone. Happy Social Media Day once again. And I'm sure you all are having a lot of fun with the sessions that we have put up for you. So right now we have yet another interesting session, a thought-provoking session, I must say, from Nakul Dev on how to calculate the ROI of social media. According to the latest CMO report, social media now accounts for 13.8% of the marketing budget, and it is only expected to rise in the next 2 or 3 years. But sadly, many brands struggle to calculate their ROI and prove how social media contributes to their bottom line. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have Nakul here, the Chief Digital Officer of Graffiti Collaborative, who is going to take us through the intricacies of calculating the social media ROI. He has worked on several brands such as Britannia Good Day, Vandala Parks and Resort, Urban Kisan, Tata Trust, Aditya Birla Group, Intel Iris, Strata, and many such brands. He has also been a business custodian managing client agency relationships. And the interesting part is when he's not making digital strategies for his clients, he's busy saving the environment as a wildlife conservationist and activist, creating awareness about the importance of forests and wildlife on where else but social media. So once again, thank you so much, Nakul, for joining us today. I'm sure all of you listening in will be able to find some actionable advice on how to demonstrate social media ROI. So without further ado, over to you, Nakul. The session's all yours.
Thanks, Keithan. Thanks, Rajuel, for the wonderful introduction. It's a great opportunity to be here and be part of this wonderful summit. And I really look forward to having this session and talk about this. Okay, so let me just get started. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is something that all brands and clients and everybody has this question, one question, right? How do I calculate my ROI on social media? So there's multiple campaigns happening, multiple budgets being run across various brands throughout the year. And right now the new normal is social media. A lot of brands are moving to spend their budgets, marketing budgets on social media. One, obviously, because of the new normal. Recent times we all know what's happening across the world. And also it's a very result oriented effective channel to kind of get the best result for whatever money you spend, right? So just going forward, a little brief about my agency. So we are called Graffiti Collaborative. We are a 360-degree creative agency. We call ourselves 9 years young. So when we started off as a digital marketing agency, but over time we realized brands come to us with a lot more, and we also added on other verticals. So we also do digital content production and events, and we also specialize in design. So one thing which we focus on as an agency is in result oriented communication. We ensure that we spend a lot of time understanding who your target audience is, what do they do, what is their psychograph. So that helps us a lot in it, making our digital strategies or creative strategy or communication strategy. So I would like to say we're a purpose-driven agency, and we believe in the immense power of communication to create an impact. Right. So that's about us. Having said that, we've had the opportunity to work with multiple brands across various sectors in these 9 years. We had the pleasure to launch a brand like Britannia Good Day on digital. So a very traditional brand for the first time when they were launched after the rebranding, we had that opportunity. We have the opportunity. We're currently working with Wonderla, which is one of the best amusement parks in India. We've had we've done a lot of social media with various brands, mostly in the space of content marketing and content creation. Brands like Tata Trust, brands like Aditya Birla Group. So, having said that, the challenge here today is a lot of startups need to understand where their money goes. While the big brands have all the money, a lot of startups today in India are still figuring out where to put their media budgets in. Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? So they're trying to analyze and calculate the ROI, and that's where this whole topic comes in, and how effectively can you measure it, and what are the tricks and traits of the whole thing. So I'm going to be talking about this as we go forward. So I'm just going to go ahead. So this is the story of our lives, right? So I'm sure all of us have had this question, right? The client comes on board and he asks us, how is social media really helping my business? I'm investing in social media, I'm creating content, I'm running media, I'm running ads, but how is that really helping my business? I'm getting the likes, I'm getting users and customers to engage with me, but am I actually getting results? How do I measure these results? So that's a tough question to answer. While a lot of clients are still traditional, many clients today are thinking digital, right? But it's harder to kind of convince and get your point across to clients who've been working on very traditional mediums of marketing, right? So that is one question that we all have. The other one is, we ourselves as digital marketers have always wondered, how do we measure the success of social media campaigns, right? We run engagement campaigns, we run UGC campaigns, and what happens at the end of this? How do we measure this, right? We've got the likes, but is it actually resulting into sales or purchases? That is something, again, we question ourselves. And again, media budget. So we say that it's our client money and we, end up spending it. But are we getting any results with burning all this media money, right? So that's again something that we ask that. So throughout this presentation, we need to understand and start measuring the ROI on social media, and I'm going to talk about how we are going to do it. So let's understand what is return on investment when it comes to social media, right? So basically, you put a little money, you invest in multiple things, and you create content and you put it out there. So all this part, all these resources, everything is used in this. But what happens to all of this, right? How do you, actually put it into numbers, or how do you put it into things that you can measure? So all this effort and resources is something that we are going to be talking about. So coming to that, I've identified at least, two key elements. One is what is the money you want to invest while you're going to be doing this entire activity. Second is, how can you attach a value to these goals, right? If you have these goals, if you want to achieve something, how are you going to attach a value to this, right? So this is something that I think, a lot of digital marketers try and understand, and create a formula to try and achieve these numbers, right? And over time, I think, a lot of digital marketers have figured out a simple formula to measure this, right? So that formula is, your ROI percentage. What is the profit that you gain from social media, and what is the cost you have on social media, right? And this cost can be multiple things. I will come to what each of this is as we go forward. And again, multiply it into 100 to get a certain percentage. So this will be a ROI percentage in business terms to understand what this has given you. But how do I apply this formula? So that's something that, a lot of us get stuck in. While, it's fancy to have numbers, it's fancy to have these formulas, but how do I actually apply this formula in day-to-day work, right? So as I go forward, I'm also going to, have some few examples. So, we understand it better, right? The step one, what I've charted out is, you choose a goal, right? There's multiple goals that you want to achieve while you're doing this marketing activity, right? One is clicks. A lot of people, as we call it in traditional sense, PPC, you can pay per click and, get some kind of a result, right? Social media interaction. So these are again, engagement driven. We put out content out there, get the community or get people over, the channels to kind of engage with the content. Maybe it can be two-way, one-way. Video views. So videos are, again, as we all know, is one of the best channel of communication, considering all the attention span of our people is very less these days. So videos get the message across, and, getting video views is again something that, makes you understand that a person has registered the message that we are putting out there. Sales. And end of the day, who doesn't want this? All our customers want sales, whether it's from doing brand awareness, whether it's doing direct sales. They want purchases or, their products to sell, right? Form fills is a good way to get lead generation. People look at an ad, we give in their information, and then maybe we have a team call them, and, then in the sales funnel convert it into a sale. Landing page. And this is a very important piece. While considering, that's your asset, you can do anything with it. How do you get people to interact with your landing page, come consume all the content, and then make a decision to make a purchase? Newsletters, again, this is a way to kind of put out your communication out there to the community or to customers. App installs, again, this is relevant for people who are trying to sell their app on digital social media. So PDF, again, this might be a thing where you want to put out some bit of a message, maybe like a report. Maybe you want to give out more information about your product. Maybe it's a product catalog. So PDF downloads is again, a goal that you can choose. So once you decide what you want to achieve, choose your goal, it's more easier to kind of go forward with this. Step two is to track your goals. So now that you've made goals in step one, you've figured out what your goal is as per your business requirement, you kind of track your goals, right? So I've charted out 5 metrics that you need to track. One is reach. Reach is obviously how many people you reached out to. In terms of traffic, how many people are coming, clicking your ads, how many people are coming to your website, monitor that. Leads is again the people who've come in and actually showed an interest. Let's say they filled a form, or let's say they've showed interest in buying your product. This again becomes a lead. And once they probably convert, they become your customers. You can engage with them on multiple ways through emailers and things like that. Right now, they have already purchased with you, and now they sit with you on your CRM as a customer. And then after all this, what is your conversion rate? Right? You've spent so much to target these guys. You've reached out to them. They've come to your website. They've become a customer. And how much did this whole process cost you? So that's something that we need to talk about. So how to track your goals is again something that we need to discuss. And for this, I've set up certain things that you need to understand. One is obviously set up your pixels. Each of your websites and each of the social media channels itself have pixels which you can use. And you need to set this up on your landing page or on your website to kind of track who's coming to your website and where they're coming. Goals and event tracking, it can be done on tools like Google Analytics, where you can link your Google Analytics to your website to see your daily customers who are coming from ads, who's coming organically, who are coming from search. So these are things again that you can set to track your goals. You also have multiple tools which you can track your day-to-day social media interaction. So we at Graffiti, we use something called as Zoho Social. So we are fully on Zoho, and we are very happy with the experience of Zoho, and we've been using for 5 years. I would recommend this tool called as Zoho Social, and we kind of track our interactions to that. Other than that, there are multiple third-party tools as well in the market, like Buffer or Hootsuite. So there are multiple tools you can track. And again, as an agency, it is, it makes sense to only purchase this, and you can also use it for all your other clients. So these are some ways. Now, once you've done all this, right? So this is a very important step in this whole cycle, right? How do you assign a monetary value to each conversion, right? So you've got people coming and you've got them to convert, but how do you assign the value? How much do you know you're spending for each conversion? So that is an important thing. I think this is where most of us kind of get confused or get lost. right? So there's something called as a lifetime value, and I'm sure a lot of us would have heard this over time. So lifetime value is nothing but how much did a customer on an average come to you, and how much did you earn from that customer, right? So if it's a repeat customer, again, in the 5 times, let's say it's come and purchased from you, what is that value you can assign to this customer, right? What is that average purchase he's done? Maybe he's shopped for 200 rupees once, maybe the next time he came for 1,000. What is that average value, and how many times has he come? So this is something that we need to set, and this is something that as digital marketers need to understand, and this has to be on the top of their mind. Meanwhile, when you're running the campaign, this kind of helps you align if you're going wrong or if you've gone off track, to come back and understand what your lifetime value, and see if your goals and your ads are running to match that. An average sale, we need to understand what's your average purchase on the website. We have multiple people shopping on all times. So if you, let's say, take a monthly data and figure out this is how much my average purchase on my website is. So you will have that number saying that on a scale, let's say if 100 people bought from me, I know that my average is a certain number. I know this is what values, and this can be aligned again when you're setting your monetary value. PPC costs, again, this is something that we use as we pay per the click, and how much would you want to spend on ads to achieve the same conversions, right? You're putting so much money and you're getting people to click your ads. How is that resulting into conversion? So these 3 steps are very important to kind of assign and understand how to do it, right? So I'm just going to briefly tell you how you can assign this value, right? So one of the first things that you need to do, it's the first method. Let's say this is considering you have historical data and you have run some bit of campaigns or media in the past on digital. So you need to understand what the LTV of each of your customer is, and then it's easier for you to figure out what the conversion values. And now, how do you do that, right? Let's do this with an example. Let's say your average LTV, the lifetime value of a customer, is 2,000, which means that overall we've got about 2,000 from this customer, and we know that let's say 1 in 20 people who view our video become customers. So out of these 20 people who came and viewed my video, I know that 1 person became a customer, right? Then I know the value of getting 1 customer to view my video is 100, considering the lifetime value of a customer is about 2,000, right? So now I know that this value is about 100, right? So going forward, the second method is something I call guesstimating, right? So this is with your use of common sense and experience. So again, I believe hands-on experience in digital marketing comes only with working on either campaigns or running ads on social media. So these are something which comes with experience, and you need to understand what your previous numbers are, and set like an industry benchmark for that. And in terms of common sense, we need to understand again who your customer is and estimate based on that. So I'll take an example again. Now let's say if you want 1,000 signups on your company newsletter, right? Now let's take an average cost, saying that we have a certain marketing budget to do this activity and we want 1,000 signups. Let's assign, let's say 10,000 or 20,000, right? We need to figure out how much out of this 20,000 we want to pay per sign up, right? And figure out and make that as your cost, and go and work backwards. Once you use this value, maybe after a month of running or maybe after a while of running, you can relook this value once you have more data, and later again go back to method 1, where you can start estimating and putting more relevant data or real-time data, right? So let's see how you can measure the benefits by channel, right? So we know there are multiple social media channels right now, and there's multiple ways that we can measure these benefits, right? So what I would like to do first is do this is collect data like traffic and conversion numbers. So this can again be done by using analytic tools like I mentioned. Maybe it can be Zoho Social, Hootsuite, things like that, again based on what your goal is set in the first step. Create a simple Excel sheet, correlate all the data to whatever value you're putting there from these conversions. And then, you can have some bit of numbers there. And then you go to the next step of calculating what your LTV or what your profit or everything comes from this, right? So taking an example again, let's assume our lifetime value of this this whole thing is about 100, right? So let's take 3 channels, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. let's say I've got 600 downloads from Instagram. Let's say this is to download a document, or let's say it's an app download, just for example. Running ads on Facebook. I'm running ads on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I've got 600 downloads on Facebook. I've got 700 downloads on Instagram, 300 downloads on LinkedIn. And it's easy for me now to calculate my profit because I know my LTV is 100. So I calculate it based on my downloads. So I get 60,000 as my 6,000 rupees as my profit. Instagram, it's a 70,000 bucks profit, and on LinkedIn, it's a 30,000 bucks profit. So overall, I've made a profit of 1,60,000 from running these ads here. Now in step 5, you need to determine what your total costs are, right? You had set a goal, and now you need to figure out how much you've spent because you've got so many downloads. Now determine what these costs are on these channels, right? Figure out what the total time spent by your resources are. So obviously, to create these ads or to create content, to run these ads, optimize it, there will be some bit of resources used from your digital marketing team or from your content team. So figure out what is the time spent by resources. So again, we use something called as timesheets, where we know how much time each project or how much time each task takes, be it our designer, be it a content writer, who we call as verbal artisan and visual artisan. So we know what our total cost is, and then the digital custodian knows that he's spent so much time, and we kind of record this on a daily basis, and then we put it on something called the timesheet. So it's very transparent, and we know how much time is spent by our resources. Then we use social media tools to kind of figure out, to give us those numbers. Let's say I've spent a certain number on Facebook, for example. I know what are the different things in terms of reach, clicks, and everything that I've got. And figure out what your media budget is before itself. So I know if I had a 30,000 budget, I've spent 30,000, and I use that across my campaign. For example, let's say I've taken the same channels, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. To get whatever I showed you in the previous, I've spent 40,000 to do that on Facebook. Instagram, I've spent about 50,000, and LinkedIn, I've spent about 60,000. So my total budget was about 1,50,000, and my resources have spent roughly about 15 hours to do manage Facebook and create content on Facebook. Instagram about 70, and LinkedIn about 18. Totally, we've put in about 50 hours of man hours, or as what you call it, in creating this entire thing. And then we know our resource cost, obviously based on what salary we pay out to our resources. I'm just taking an average right now. We pay, let's say, 1,000 rupees per hour. So I know, if I've spent 15 hours, so that's 15,000 for Facebook. My resources have spent 17,000 worth of time on Instagram, and I've spent about 18,000 rupees worth of money on LinkedIn. And now what's interesting is we know what our media budget is. We know what my resource cost is. You kind of just add that up. So that's your cost per channel, right? So now I know on Facebook I've spent 55,000, and I know I've spent 67,000 on Instagram, and I know I've spent 78,000. So overall, my cost per channel has come to about 2 lakhs. And this is what my cost per each channel is. And here right now I have a number, right? So I've successfully determined what my total costs are for this campaign. Now, once I've got these results, I know what my sales have been as in downloads. I know how much I've spent for my resources, and I know what my media budget is. Now put everything together and you analyze the results, and then from here you go and improve it, right? This is where your optimization comes. This is where, you see what's wrong. And this again, while, this I might be doing after a month or after a certain time period, this is important to be seeing on a daily on a daily basis. So because you already know your lifetime value, it's important that you kind of see and analyze if your goals are being achieved, if your downloads are happening, right? So again, I'm going to go with that same formula which we saw in the previous slides, where I'm going to get back the ROI percentage calculator, right? So I already have what my profit I've gained in my previous slide. I know how much I've spent on social media, and now I'm just going to calculate based on using this formula. So on Instagram, we were, we had a profit of 60,000. We had spent 55,000. I know my ROI is about 9%. Instagram, I've spent about 70,000, and my cost on Instagram was about 67,000. My ROI was 4%. On LinkedIn, maybe for my performance, it turned out to be a little more expensive. I've had only a profit of 30,000. I've had less downloads, but I've spent more on LinkedIn. Maybe because managing it, maybe the costs were high. The CPCs are usually higher on LinkedIn. So I've spent about 78,000 here. Now I'm at a minus 61% ROI here. Overall, I've got so many downloads. I've spent 1 lakh. I've got a profit of 1,60,000, and my cost of channel was still I've spent more on advertising here. I spent 2 lakhs to advertise, whereas I've made a net profit of only 1,60,000. So I know I'm at a 20% loss here. So this is just to give you an example that where I've not made a profit here. I know my ROI percentage. So what's interesting here, while people might just discard saying, this is where we come in as digital marketers and explain this to the client. Now when the client looks at it, he's going to say, hey, I've lost money. I made a 20% loss on my ROI. Why do you think this is effective? That's when I go and tell him that look at your Facebook and Instagram numbers. You've done 9% on you had a 9% ROI on Facebook. You had a 4% ROI on Instagram. Why don't you discard LinkedIn from your media mix and put more money on Facebook and Instagram? That's probably going to give you better ROI. So this way, we are able to show this to the to our clients and tell them and help them analyze what went wrong. So throughout this whole process, we were transparent completely with what we showed them. We showed them how to calculate. We told them what budgets we can use and recommend and how we can improve that. So understanding this whole cycle is something that we should be doing, and I'm sure this will help us going forward. So coming to that, right? So that was just to show what are the necessary steps that we had to take to ensure that whatever money you put in, you're able to calculate the right way. Now the client will also ask, you showed me that, and now how do I improve, my ROI on social media? Right. So some of the tips that I would like to share is, right, on Facebook there's something called as a relevance score, right? So look at if your ads are actually relevant to the kind of audience you're targeting, right? And that can be done by the cost per click, or that can be done by the number of clicks you're getting on your ads, right? Usually ads with a very low relevance score have almost about 40x times higher CPCs, right? This only means that whenever you have a low relevance score, your ads are basically probably not doing well, right? And they're coming out more expensive to you, right? And so this is where you kind of optimize and cut that out and figure out how you build a better relevance score, right? So the other tip that I would like to say is relook at your content quality. So this is something that I think a lot of digital marketers or brands kind of overlook, right? So we create something, we create an asset, we run let's say a campaign or an ad. We completely discard this, saying that, okay, we've already created, maybe there's something wrong, maybe we're not targeting the right people, maybe our platform is not right. So this is something that we kind of assume, but this is where we also have to relook at the content quality. Is the content appealing actually to the right audience? Is it speaking to the customer who you think is looking at the ad? We need to relook that. Maybe the copy line is too big or too long. Maybe the image used in that creative is not relevant to the audience that you're talking to. So here, you kind of go back to sit with the creative team or sit with your designer or content writer and figure out if this is actually working. And this can again be done at a certain interval when you know that your CPCs are either very high or your relevance scores are really low. Again, better content quality is higher relevance score. Facebook, again, like I was saying in my previous slide, measures the quality based on the number of engagement. So Facebook assumes that if you have more people engaging on a particular post, your quality is automatically better, right? And I think it holds true today to all the social media platforms. Nobody would want to interact or click on an ad if it's not appealing. So again, that is something that you can look at the quality, right? And the more people engage with your content, the cheaper it actually becomes for you to boost it. And you already know that you're getting some bit of organic traction from that. You maybe have to put, if you were going to, let's say, spend about 1,000 rupees on a particular ad, that maybe you have to spend 500 rupees because you already know your ad is doing well. So minimize your budget there, and let's say maybe you want to amplify it and share it on more social media channels so you get that traction, right? So that is some tips. And again, very generic thing is, again, look at the targeting. So this is where at Graffiti Collaborative, we spend a lot of time figuring out who the right audience is. Because I feel that if you understand who your right audience is, spend some time and look into what they do on a daily basis. Look at their customer journey. Look at their buying behavior. Look what they do. Try and understand and see what they do on a daily basis. And again, at certain times, audience behaves certain ways, and the way a digital audience behave, I think they behave very differently from an offline audience. Their buying behavior is very different. Now, I might go to a supermarket, I might look at something, it might look nice, and I might buy it. But on digital, maybe I might look at the product, but I might also read up about the product. That is where your website comes in. That is where you need to have the right content on your ad. Appeal to the person with whatever he wants to hear, right? So look at if you're targeting the right audience. Spend some time in understanding your customer. Draw out psychographs, draw out demographics, see what he does, and figure out what they're doing on the social media platforms or what they're doing on digital. Understand your customer. Build a customer persona. This is to understand who they really are. This is something that we like doing. Now, let's say if I have to take Keerthan, what does Keerthan do on a daily basis? Is she on Instagram? Is she on TikTok? Is she, let's say, shopping on Amazon? What does she do at home? What are her interests? Does she like traveling? So we try and build this customer persona, and we figure out what the average age is, figure out where they live, figure out if they're from tier 1, tier 2 cities, and understand. So now once I've built a persona, I know I'm able to target them better. So you can actually relate. So this becomes, I feel this step has become very mechanical over time. Digital marketers have understood customers, and they feel this is how the customer behaves. Nobody puts time to understand your customers, because again, our customers are changing on a daily basis. I mean, I think the last 1 or 2 years, we've seen how much of customers have actually come on TikTok, for example, right? Now, TikTok is a booming platform, and brands are going and spending money there. I know while, there's a whole new level of saying boycott Chinese apps, but looking at an app from other than a different perspective, look at what that app is doing. It's able to target to tier 2 and tier 3 cities, right? People from villages are creating content, and they are on that social media again. And, that's a brand's customer right there. And it opens out, a completely new channel to marketeers. So that's something that, we like to do. And again, specific interests and gender is something that we need to look at, not just look at broad targeting. Understand who your audience is. Maybe some products might appeal only to males. Maybe it might not appeal to females. But again, females might be the influencer to buy that. So understand who that is and what are the specific interests, right? On a daily basis, there's so many things we like. There's so many things we interact with. There's so many hobbies. Like, maybe wildlife conservation is one thing for me, but on my digital space, maybe I'm interacting with brands in a different way. Maybe I'm looking at only sustainable products. Maybe I'm looking at different things. So figure out who these interests are. Figure out what, and this probably comes from a little bit of what you as a brand want to talk, or what you as a brand has an offering, and look at if this kind of aligns with your brand. And then you're able to figure out, and draft out what the specific interest might be of your customer. And again, this is something that I was saying a little while back, where the online and offline audience interact completely differently these days, right? While, let's take an example of a product which is probably meant for a kid, right? So this is a classic mistake which we do. We think this product is for a kid, and we make the creatives which looks like a kid. We make it in a way that it appeals to a kid. But we need to understand that kid is not going to look at this ad on social media. It's probably the decision maker, it's dad or mom. So how do you make this ad or this creative appeal to the mom rather than the kid? While the product and maybe the experience of the product, and maybe the product is made for a kid, right? But that can come in the packaging. But on digital, that's not how it works. You're targeting the mom or the dad, who's the decision maker end of the day, who's going to buy your product. So that's what's important. Maybe at an engagement stage is when you also try and do something with the mom and kid, or the parents and the kid, do some kind of engagement activity to bring the kid into the thing. But the kid the kid might be the end user, but the parents are the customer. The parents are who's going to buy it, right? And that's something that we need to really look at. And all these things is something which will help us, improve our social media ROI. And so I think that's about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the session. And yeah, we can, any questions, we can discuss that.
Yeah,
So that,
thank you, Nakul. And can you just stop sharing your screen so that we'll have your
Sure.
full.
Sure.
that's really amazing, Nakul. So there's like a lot of insights and it's like beautiful information where you have put it across and shared with us. That's like huge insights were available. And thank you so much for such a beautiful presentation. Yeah, I hope like seriously the people is gonna love this and definitely they're gonna gain value out of it. So thank you so much. Nakul.
Yeah. Thank you, Nakul, for that. I think calculating a social media ROI has never sounded more simple. And you cover the entire spectrum of calculating a social media ROI, from what is social media ROI to how to calculate social media ROI with examples, and finally how to improve your social media idea. So that was just beautiful. Thank you, Nakul.
I think the challenge which people kind of face is, soon as they hear, ROI, or soon as they hear numbers, people kind of get scared, right? So I think they should look at it as a more broader approach. You don't have to tie everything back to numbers. While numbers are very important, look at how you can improve things. Performance marketing or social media marketing is not always about numbers. It's also about, things like content quality, things like, who you're targeting. So those are very important points which people miss out.
Yes, exactly. As you mentioned, yes. So thank you, Nakul, for that. And we'll move on to the questions. We have some questions from the community. So one person has asked that profit by revenue into 100, that's the general formula of ROI. So is it the same for social media as well?
So, see, on an offline thing, maybe it will make sense, but you can't discard the whole number of what you're putting into your resources, right? What you're spending on creating that. What is that time? The people who are creating those ads, or the let's say the team which is running these ads, right? You can't completely discard that. While that person, who was asked, it's a great question, but we need to have that in mind, right? Otherwise you're not going to get an effective number, because on traditional medium, maybe sometimes you're not calculating these costs, right? You're not calculating your marketing costs, or you're not calculating that time and effort which people have put in. So I feel it's not very effective. And if you have to be effective, because like let's take an example of a offline example. I create a hoarding, I put it out, right? It's a one-time thing. I'm not going to be sitting on it on a daily basis and optimizing it. I'm not going to be sitting it on a daily basis, analyzing and changing the creative on a real time. So I need to account for that, right? So I need to do account for all that time and effort which goes in on doing that on a daily basis, because otherwise, which is why they say digital is the most tangible medium, right? Because you're doing this on real time, you're doing this very actively on a daily basis. It's not something you just create an ad and you just let it run, then you get results at the end of the month. You need to keep optimizing it. You need to see how you can reduce your CPC. You keep re-looking at your targeting. If something's working, a certain ad set is working, put more money on that ad set. If something's not working, stop it and reiterate. So digital is a very fast moving thing. You need to keep doing that on the real time in order to get effective ROI. So I'm not going to say that's the right formula. While it's partially right, we need to also account for that cost that we've spent.
Yes. Thank you. I think you demonstrated that in the presentation as well. You
Correct.
covered that in the presentation. So thank you for that answer. And the next question is, in the B2B enterprise sector, is it possible to attribute qualified leads to social media? I mean, and how effective is social media for social selling for B2B sales?
So that's again interesting question. Great, whoever asked that. See, on social media, like B2B, right? B2B is, while social media can be a thing to do it on B2B, but we need to figure out where or what channels kind of work for B2B, right? Like I would recommend a channel like LinkedIn is very good for B2B. And again, it's a very subjective thing. Various clients reach out to various things. Now let's take an example of maybe corporate gifting, right? Again, that's B2B, right? Let's say Titan wants to sell their watches. And again, this is a B2B function, and they want to, let's say, sell it to an employee of a let's say a grocery store or maybe Amazon employees, for example. Now, the Amazon employees for Diwali or something, they're getting these watches. And now Titan has to reach out to the guy who takes a decision at Amazon, right? Maybe it's the HR guy, maybe it's an admin guy, so administration guy. So they need to reach out to this guy. While it might not happen on, let's say, face to face or maybe through word of mouth, this is an effective way. You can target this person on LinkedIn, right? And LinkedIn again is social media. So probably over time, you built relevance of your LinkedIn channel. You know, you put out content there. You've established that, you know, you as Titan corporate gifting channel, that you do this. And then you are directly targeting this guy who's the decision maker. And let's say you're getting him to click that ad, and later he sends you a request, and that's a sale right there, right? So it is. So I'm not going to discuss, while maybe channels like Facebook and Instagram might not be the right channel, but it's always, what I would say is, you know, you might not want to run media there, but it's always good to, you know, have a community built, right? Because today community management is again another thing, right? The first time I hear a brand or first time I hear about a service or a product, I am going to go and check their social media channel. I'm going to go check their website, right, to get more information or to see who are, you know, what are the kind of people who's engaging with this brand. So it is relevant. You need to have community built. You need to create content on a daily basis. But I wouldn't recommend that you would, you know, probably run performance ads. If you can run some bit of little budget from your marketing budget to build a community, put that money to engage with your audience, because that's a direct channel for you to interact with any customer, you know, be it B2B or B2C, because it, you know, removes that whole thing of probably, you know, mailing or communicating through email or on phone or things like that. This is more of a fun channel, right? And it's also a great channel to probably hire for B2B guys. And, you know, because that is where people are on social media, right? And I get to know about a job, let's say, from this channel. And it's great because you're building a culture of this place. You're putting out the culture of what you do as an organization. And again, but one important thing is to figure out, you know, use each of the channel for a purpose, right? Maybe Facebook and Instagram is more for community building and engagement. Maybe it's more to put out the culture and what you do as a brand. Maybe it's not for sales, but LinkedIn, you can use it for sales. So it's, I would say yes and no. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Nakul, for that very insightful answer. And moving on to the next question. One of the main purposes of social media is building community and relationships, as you rightly mentioned. So in such cases, it's not actually possible to attribute a value number to ROI. So would it be fair to say that we cannot measure everything in social media?
So I wouldn't say that. So what happens is, right, let's say you're a brand new company, right? And let's say you're selling a beverage, for example. You create a social media handle. Now, right now, you know that, you know, your product is maybe only in the shelves. You're not going to do any online sales. But it's, you need to have that bit of brand awareness. People need to know that you are a brand in the market today. And you need to engage with your audience, and you need to have a community following you. While, you know, there's always been a debate if Facebook likes are important, right? And that is something that we've seen over time. A lot of people are shifting from Facebook and go to Instagram, you know, and today we are defined by how many followers we have. And that holds good for brands as well. Most of the brands are defined by the number of followers you have. While it's smart that Instagram does not, you know, probably allow you to directly run campaigns to get followers, but putting out that interesting content or putting out that content which appeals to that customer, I'm able to garner likes and I'm able to garner followers on my Instagram handle. And over time, and it's not a one-time or it's a one-time activity, it's an ongoing activity, which is why brands invest so much in community management or so much in content creation. Like you would see brands like Dunzo, Swiggy and all, you know, putting out maybe about 6-7 posts in a day, right? That is simply because, you know, they want to build that community, you know, they want to build that relevance. They put out quirky content and it's so good and you're relatable. It's relatable to any of us, right? So it is important that, so that itself is ROI right there, right? That time that a team which is putting into creating this content or, you know, thinking of that idea, that one quirky creative, which let's say Dunzo put out, there'll be maybe 5, 6 people who thought about it. They've discussed it. And that whole time, that is ROI at the end of the day. You are end of the day spending that money, on this, let's say, agency who's creating this content, right? So that is ROI at the end of the day. And I don't see clients still understand that, but they're slowly understanding, content creation, engagement also is a very important factor to determine. And so hopefully over time, with discussions and sessions like this, we are also able to, educate customers, educate, our clients, and, help them figure out how to achieve this. Because I mean, I don't blame them. It's, all of us have come from the traditional line of marketing and traditional way of thinking. And right now, as you clearly stated at the starting of this presentation, digital spends are increasing on a daily basis, right? And right now with, COVID, I think all brands are moving to digital, and this is the primary channel. And I mean, look at us, we are doing this on digital, right? So it is going to be the primary channel going forward, whether being for sales or whether to build a community or to get that, it's a primary, medium of advertising and marketing. I'm not going to be stepping out. How a brand's going to reach me? And this is the perfect way to reach you. And over time, I'm not spending money, I'm not running ads, but I'm building a community on social media. I'm putting out relevant content, and I'm able to, get people to share my content, and that again becomes a snowball effect. More and more people, kind of see that.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Wonderfully put, Nakul. I mean, just not the numbers and ROI part, but also the content part. Its content is also very important when it comes to social media. So thank you for that answer. And the next question is how to identify the various metrics for several social media platforms to calculate the ROI, because often we get lost in vanity metrics. So how do you identify the right metrics for social media?
So I would say more than right metric, look at what your goals are, right? So based on your goals is how you would have to, measure that, right? Not everything. See, today what happens is, we run an ad, we feel that, either it's for engagement or either to get a click to website. But our social media platforms allow you to have so many things, right? So like recently we ran a campaign where, you're able to click an ad, and that person could actually, the customer could message you on WhatsApp, and then you can, push your sales or, communicate and engage with this customer on WhatsApp. So it doesn't have to be that, there's certain metrics for, there's only certain metrics that you have to look at. You have to look at what your goal is first, right? If you want to achieve, let's say, clicks, look at what your CPCs are, look at what your CTR rates are, right? Maybe an ad is doing, is turning out expensive, but maybe more people are clicking it. Maybe the CTR rate is really good. So you need to take a call if that's working and if it's within your budget, and look at that as a metric, right? Look at how much you're spending to get a person to install your app, right? If let's say the app, the number of users who are downloading it and let's say deleting it, that's a metric you get stuck at, because we know that you've got so many installed. Maybe over time people have deleted it, right? Maybe in 2 days. How do you measure that, right? So brands do face those problems. So what I would say is, relook at your goals, right? Relook at what you want to achieve. Maybe sometimes it's not always about setting the right metrics, because again, like you said, we get lost in these vanity metrics. As soon as you say metrics, we're like, oh, what is the metric? Sometimes maybe doesn't have to be that. Maybe look at what the goal you want to achieve. And even if the metric is, let's say it's turned out to be expensive or turned out thing and it's coming within your budget, it's fine. And explore, well, I think one thing I would say is explore new types of goals, right? Figure out what are the things. Sometimes it's not just pushing for sales. Maybe people don't know about your brand as of yet. Try a brand awareness campaign in that thing. Maybe put a little money in OTT platforms. Right now we know what the situation says. We're all going to be at home watching a lot of Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff. Maybe invest in Hotstar, right? Run an ad on Hotstar. You'll have more people probably watching it. And again, your serials, everything has been, is being consumed on these OTT platforms. So look at, your goal and who your audience is, and automatically based on that, figure out what your metric is. And, that's what I would like to, kind of say.
Yes, that's very relevant, Nakul. I mean, no one actually takes into consideration these points, so it's very relevant. And the next question, do you recommend any tools or methods to calculate the ROI? I mean, of course, you mentioned Zoho Social, but what are some other tools that you use?
See, ROI, like I said, ROI is a very simple formula, right? So the certain things that you have to measure is, your social media performance. Most of the interesting thing is most of the tools itself, like Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn itself throws out these analytics. The problem what we face is probably how do you analyze this analytics. So as digital marketers, I think most of them will know what to analyze out of it. But other than that, yeah, I would recommend Zoho Social. I would recommend Hootsuite. Uh, Buffer also is a good social media tool to kind of message, track your, analytics and things like that. So end of the day, it's not the tool, right? It's end of the day, it's that one formula. So you need multiple tools to get multiple metrics, get all that, and use this formula to kind of calculate that. So for social media, I would recommend those tools. But sometimes the platform itself gives you that relevant information, right? I mean, I would like to say while there are so many tools, I like to use the traditional way of calculating. Maybe sometimes I just use an Excel, right? Because you get the numbers. Numbers are right there in front of you. There's no other information. It's just the numbers you want to see and just some formula, and and that kind of, honestly, personally, it helps me, right? So I usually take all this, while these reports and platforms are there, I take all these numbers and I put it to an Excel, which in a format which I like. And it's easier for me because it's my numbers and I know what I want to do with it, right? So that is one. And the other way to that's one way to measure. The other way to measure is obviously a resource cost, which I was saying, which the time which people put in on digital media, which is the most forgotten thing. So that I think can be calculated at a company level, have set processes in place. That is something that we at Graffiti Collaborative strongly follow. We follow these processes from, start to end of a project to calculate how much time we put in. Let's say we know at the time of pricing itself that this project is going to cost me so much, and this is how much time it's going to take my resources to do this, right? And I would have spent so much of time and, priced accordingly, right? And it's as transparent as the client can get. There's no fact that the clients, can't question you saying, where is my money going, right? So you have that system put in place. And, timesheets is something, it's an industry standard, basically. A lot of brands and organizations follow that. At least, internationally, abroad, a lot of brands follow this. And it's a new thing in India, right? It's a good thing to follow. I think why people follow it in India is, they feel that, they're obligated to work all those 8 hours. But I mean, nobody is human to work those 8 hours. You need to take those breaks. You need to, I say work smarter, right? Maybe you're spending 5 hours of that day, but work smarter. But put in those 5 hours and record those 5 hours and where your effort has gone. And once you calculate that, you have what your resource cost is or how much time you spent on this project. And take that cost and also, put it in the calculator. So you have your, analytics from your tools of how much you've spent, and you have your timesheets, and you have how much time your resources have. And that's all what you need to, end of the day, for a person to calculate what ROI is. Right. Sometimes it's interesting. Maybe a client also has put in some time in this, maybe brainstorming with you on a campaign. We can calculate his cost as well. Right. And this will work obviously for startups, not for big brands. But it's an interesting way to see what your ROI at the end of the day is. Because when we say ROI, we just think numbers. We just say how much ad spends. We don't think of these other factors, which are the most important things.
Yeah. Thank you, Nakul. And we always have the good old Excel. Yeah, so the last question for this session is, what are some of the best practices for reporting and presenting social media data to your client or to your management?
Okay. So one thing is, what I would say is you have to monitor if, let's say, you're a digital analyst or you're running a certain campaign. I would recommend you to look at the ads on a daily basis, right? Look at it one time that's just as a practice. Again, it's, you have to make it as a habit. See, like I was saying, people start the ad, run the campaign or run the ad, and they forget about it. Maybe they look at it after a week. In that week of time, maybe you've, spent, you could have optimized your CPC to a number that you wanted. Maybe you spent more, and that one spent is obviously gone. And the end of the day, the client is going to ask you, what happened to my money? right? So look at it on a daily basis. You don't have to probably report it, but for your understanding, look at it once in the morning, look at it once in the evening, and maybe every 2-3 days, record the number on your Excel, right? Look at the performance on a daily basis, and then weekly generate a report, right? Like I said, while I get all these reports, when I'm presenting it to my client or to my management, I would like to put it on an Excel, because it's this saying that I've got these numbers, and what I've done out of it and what the actual thing is, right? And it's easier to show the calculation. Sometimes your client might not understand what CTR is, what a CPC is, right? And it's easier for him if you put it on Excel, because you can show him the formulas of how each is calculated. And that tools usually fail to they'll give you just different columns, different headings, and they'll give you the numbers. And here you're actually able to show the calculation of what's happening. So that's something that I follow for reporting. And one thing important is in reporting is we make a report and we share it with our client or our management, but we never infer from it, right? We need to have some inferences. We need to understand what happened, right? Understand what happened and look at those numbers. What was that CTC you got? What was that CPC you got? What was that CTR you got? See if that is something that you got. So I usually like to put my target and my achievement next to each other to kind of see where I am. Right, on a weekly basis, I know that my weekly budget is so much and so much I've achieved, and I like to see that at the end of the month, when let's say I give a whole campaign, let's say a report, I know that this was my target and this is what I've achieved, and I was able to optimize only because I'm seeing it on a regular basis. And now I know these inferences that this has worked and this is a thing. And next step is for me to make those recommendations. And like in that example I showed, maybe I remove LinkedIn off from my mix, and I recommend to my client next month, whatever campaign or next campaign we're running, let's increase our media budgets, and maybe use only Facebook and Instagram on these channels, because I have a proven history saying that I have a 9 or a 4% ROI on this. So let's put our money here. And then the client has nothing to say, because that's true numbers right there, right? And we've also told him that from the report, this is what has happened and this is what you can achieve. And one interesting thing is, other than recommendation, you can also forecast. Right? Forecast what you can do, because you have that historical data with you now and you know how the behavior is. Maybe there'll be little aspects of, there'll be a creative change, or maybe next month is, let's say, Diwali season. Maybe there are lesser people using online. So you need to think of factors as well, not just numbers. Think of other things. Think, put yourself in the customer's shoe. Am I going to click an ad during Diwali? Maybe I'm not on digital. Maybe I'm spending more time with my family offline. So you need to account for such things, and maybe remove some media budget there, and maybe you want to use it as an emailer. So figure out which channel is effective from that reporting and make those recommendations to your clients. And obviously that will show it will be fruitful for the client as he goes forward. And he has his reports and he knows what happened during this time, and he will obviously adapt it as he goes forward.
Yeah, thank you, Nakul. All right, so thank you so much for it's been our pleasure hosting you, and thank you so much for patiently answering all our questions. Everything was beautifully answered. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kirtan.
Yeah. Thanks. So viewers and listeners, how do you calculate your social media ROI? What are the tools and techniques that you use? And most importantly, let us know what were your top 2 takeaways from this session. Send it out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. Make sure you tag Nakul and also us so that we find it, amplify it, and you may also have some cool goodie coming your way. And make sure you bookmark this page if you haven't already, and enable those pop-up notifications as well. And we'll see you soon in another interesting session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hold up, just before we leave, this summit will not be possible without you, our speakers, and our exquisite sponsors, HandySense. HandySense are the official partners of Twilio Sendgrid, arguably one of the best mailing tools out there, right? These cool emails we're sending you, as I mentioned, were sent to you through HandySense as well. So make sure you check them out. They make the life of all developers and marketers alike easy. It's completely plug and play. Make sure you check them out, as I mentioned. And for the summit attendees, they have this cool 6 months for free offer, and their pro plans are at 20% off as well. Make sure you find the link down there, and we will see you in the next session. Make sure you send out all your social shares with hashtag Thank You Social, thanking the power of social and our digital heroes. I will see you in the next session.